Ron DeSantis has announced that the next phase of his personal crusade against Disney, one of the main employers in his state, is going to escalate quickly. So you might recall that he tried to take over their sort of like independent operating body that controlled that area. And then they had this last minute clever little legal maneuver that allowed them to retain control. He doesn't like that because it makes him look ridiculous and everybody on the internet laughed at him. So now he's gonna try to just nullify it. He says Disney's sloppy and futile attempt to subvert the will of the legislature and Floridians, yeah, lots of Floridians desperately care about this, was uncovered by our state oversight board, and their 11th hour agreements will be nullified by the legislature. Disney's corporate kingdom is over. I will just remind you that while I am all for regulation of corporations, it generally is not supposed to be the case that the government just goes on an extended vendetta against one individual corporation for purely personal reasons. That's not really how our government is supposed to work. You don't like the little tricky pizzicky thing that they did, but they did it. And now the state legislature is gonna weigh in so that you can stick it to this very popular company in your state that generates a bunch of tax revenue and hires a bunch of people. Okay. Well, it goes beyond just the nullification. He said, come to think of it now, people are like, well, what should we do with this land? Maybe we'll create a state park. Maybe try to do more amusement parks. Someone even said like, maybe you need another state prison. I mean, who knows? I mean, I just think that the possibilities are endless. So he's talking about building a state prison next to Disney or another amusement park, which will definitely be competitive against Disney. He's also talking about just raising their taxes, raising an individual company's taxes, as his entire party's ideology is that corporate taxes shouldn't exist in the first place. There's a little bit of a muddling of the ideology going on here, Mondale.
Listen, first of all, the statement was nothing but lies, and we'll get to that. Isn't Florida where people go because they don't want to pay income taxes? Isn't that the purpose? Isn't that why so many rich people live in Florida? So I think this is absolutely disgusting. It's also the doublespeak that shows us that the Republican Party does not have principles beyond anyone that does not agree with them 100%. They will come out to anything using any tactics. We saw this a long time ago. Ronald Reagan, as governor of California, enacted the first gun restriction laws in that state, right? When Black Panthers showed up to the Capitol with guns, he did this. Now Ron DeSantis is showing up the same way against Disney, anti-Disney, because Disney is seen anti-them, even though Disney is still giving money to Republicans throughout the state. This is what's gonna hamstring him. And I don't think he understands the power of Disney in Florida when you're starting to, like, I think your legislature might miss the mark, and you may try something, but what the backlash is gonna be will be no governor from the Republican Party for a while, because Disney's gonna withhold all their resources from them. Let me say one more thing about Ron DeSantis. He has a bigger problem. You breezed over it, John, but it's a big deal. Susie Wild in Florida against DeSantis is problematic. She is the reason Trump won Florida the way he did twice. She is not to play with. She is the Republican snake in the state, and Florida has a lot of snakes. I mean, it is the home. It is the home. But I mean, honestly, this is a powerful lobbyist, a powerful Republican strategist who has relationships not just in Florida, but with donors outside. And I bet you some of these conversations where donors are saying, hold off, or we're holding off, or we're thinking, is all about that. Because she's probably having conversations saying Trump don't care about half the stuff he's saying. He just want to win. Whereas DeSantis is legislating this stuff. And that track record of legislating hate is gonna cause him and the Republican Party any serious conversation or looks on a national scale. So I'm super excited about Susie being over there with Donald Trump.
Okay.
I'm also happy that DeSantis is at war with the mouse.
Yeah. Well, as we're about to get to very briefly, the mouse is striking back. By the way, glad to have you on today because you have that perspective on Susie Wiles. I wasn't personally familiar with her. But here's the issue. So DeSantis trying to stick it to Disney once again. He really thinks that one of these days he's gonna come out of this looking cool. Well, he's got two Disney related hits coming against him. One coming from Donald Trump, who bleated, DeSantis is being absolutely destroyed by Disney. This is this morning, by the way. His original PR plan fizzled, so now he's going back with a new one in order to save face. Disney's next move will be the announcement that no more money will be invested in Florida because of the governor. In fact, they could even announce a slow withdrawal or sale of certain properties or the whole thing. Watch, that would be a killer. In the meantime, this is all so unnecessary, a political stunt. Ron should work on the squatter mess. Trump is 100% right. That's weird. Well, I didn't feel quite right. It is a stunt. Of course, Trump engages in these sorts of stunts constantly. That's all it is. So he's getting hit. By the way, you know what Disney just announced? The first ever Disneyland After Dark Pride Night is coming to Disneyland during Pride Month in June. This separately ticketed event celebrating the first LGBTQIA+ community and allies will have themed entertainment, Disney characters, specialty menu items, and more. Suck it, Puddin' Ron. They didn't say that in the tweet, but I feel like that was the subtext, the subtweet, if you will. Anyway, Mondale, any further thoughts?
I love how Trump will call someone out for doing exactly what Trump would do, but it works for him. Like this guy there's no shame with Trump. The fact that he's calling out DeSantis, and let's be honest, this is absolutely spot on. Trump is spot on. This is a political stunt. This idea that you're gonna get rid of Disney or hurt Disney or that Disney's stock is failing is a lie. They're doing wonderful. They're putting out movies that are making more money than ever. And this is just opening up people's idea of the park. People that may have not thought about Disney in June because Florida's too hot will definitely be there for the Pride Night. So I think DeSantis will lose, and Trump is absolutely right. I don't think Disney is gonna pull out of Florida. I think they're just gonna make DeSantis look like an idiot by making more money and being more successful in his state as he waged war on them, and they just continue to ignore him, or as you say, tell him to suck it.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.